What's New in Fantasy, January 2025. Hello, welcome to What's New, the series where I bring you all the fantasy new releases in a month. Let's waste no time and jump right into it. On January 2nd, we have A Language of Dragons by S.F. Williamson. Dragons soar through the skies and protests erupt on the streets, but Vivian Featherswallow isn't worried. She's going to follow the rules, get a summer internship studying dragon languages, be smart, be sweet, and make sure her little sister never ever has to risk growing up third class. She just has to free one dragon. By midnight, Viv has started a civil war. With her parents and cousin arrested and her sister missing, Viv is brought to Bletchley Park as a code breaker. If she succeeds, she and her family can all go home again. If she doesn't, they all die. As Viv begins to discover the secrets of a hidden dragon language, she realizes that the fragile peace treaty that holds human and dragon societies together is corrupt, and the dangerous work Viv is doing could be the thread that unravels it. And then on January 6th, we have a book coming out from a friend that I know called Shark-Squatch. In the year 6969, a city corrupted by misogyny and fascism, a genetic experiment teams with a woman bred to be the perfect waitress. Will they become heroes? Will they become BFFs? Maybe they can become both. If you're more of a fan of like B-movie horror comedies, that one could be for you. Then on January 7th, we have quite a few books coming out, starting with Immortal by Sue Lynn Tan. The young heir to Immortal crown, Lian ascends a precarious throne when her grandfather dies, vowing to end her kingdom's obligation to the Immortals and take vengeance against those she feels responsible for his death. When she is summoned to the Immortal realm, she seizes the opportunity to learn their secrets and to form a tenuous alliance to safeguard her people, all with the one she should fear and mistrust the most, the ruthless god of war. As they are drawn together, a treacherous attraction ignites between them, one she has to resist, to not endanger all she is fighting for. But with darker forces closing in around them and her kingdom plunged into peril, Lian must risk everything to save her people from an unspeakable fate, even if it means forging a dangerous bond with the Immortal, even if it means losing her heart. And then we have Breath of the Dragon, Breathmarked by Fonda Lee and Shannon Lee. 16-year-old June dreams of providing his worth as a warrior in the Elite Guardians tournament, held every 6 years to entrust the magical scroll of heaven to a new protector. Eager to prove his skills, June hopes that a win will restore his father's pride, righting a horrible mistake that caused their banishment from his home, mother, and twin brother. But June's father strictly forbids him from participating. He believes there is no future in June honing his skills as a warrior, especially considering June is not breathmarked, born with a patch of dragon scales and blessed with the special abilities like his twin. Determined to be the next guardian, June stows away in the wagon of Shang and his daughter Ren, performers on their way to the capital where the tournament will take place. As June competes, he quickly realizes he may be fighting for not just a better life, but the fate of the country itself and the very survival of everyone he cares about. And then we have The Starlight Heir by Amalie Howard. When the gold-dusted court invitation arrives at Suraya Saab's forge, she believes it's a joke. Nobles might seek her skills as a bladesmith, one of few who can imbue her work with precious jadoo, the last source of magic in their realm. But she has no qualifications as a potential bride for the crown prince. Still, the invitation is the chance at adventure and the means to finally visit the capital city her late mother loved. But what awaits her in Caldari is nothing she could have imagined, and fraught with danger. It's not the crown prince, but his impossibly handsome, illegitimate half-brother Roshan, who captures her interest and her ire. The invitation isn't a quest to find a suitable bride, but a veiled hunt for the Star Keeper, a girl rumored to hold the magic of the stars in her blood. And across the city, an unrest is brewing between the noble houses and the rebel militia. When the rebels attack, Soraya and Roshan find themselves on the run, trying to deny their simmering attraction and the knowledge that Soraya herself might be the Star Keeper. But Roshan is guarding secrets of his own, and with no control over the power stirring within her, Soraya has drawn the attention of a dark god, an immortal whose interest might be the biggest threat of all. Then we have 4 Ruined Realms by Corland, which is book 2 in the Broken Blades. Book 1 is 5 Broken Blades. The King of Yasan must die. The 5 most dangerous liars in all the land have been mysteriously summoned to work together for a single objective, to kill the god King June. He is coming. Under his merciless immortal hand, the nobles flourish, while the poor and innocent are imprisoned, ruined, or sold. And now, each of the 5 blades will come for him. Each has tasted bitterness, from their hired hitman seeking atonement, a lovely assassin who seeks freedom, or even the prince banished for his cruel crimes. None can resist the sweet, icy lure of vengeance. They can agree on murder, they can agree on treachery, but for these 5 killers, each versed in deception, lies, and betrayal, it's not enough to forge an alliance. To survive, they'll have to find a way to trust each other, but only one can take the crown. Let the best liar win. And then we have Adrift in Currents, Clean and Clear by Shannon, McGuire. And this is book 10 of The Wayward Children. Book 1 is Every Heart a Doorway. Eleanor West's home for wayward children. No solicitations, no visitors, no quests. Children have always disappeared under the right conditions, slipping through the shadows under a bed or at the back of a wardrobe, tumbling down rabbit holes and into old wells, and emerging somewhere else. But magical lands have little need for used-up miracle children. Nancy tumbled once, but now she's back. The things she experienced, they change a person. The children under Miss West's care understand all too well, and each of them is seeking a way back to their own fantasy world. But Nancy's arrival marks a change at the home. There's a darkness just around each corner, and when tragedy strikes, it's up to Nancy and her newfound schoolmates to get to the heart of things, no matter the cost. Then we have A Sea of Unspoken Things by Adrienne Young. James and Johnny Golden were once inseparable. For as long as she can remember, James shared an almost supernatural connection with her twin brother, Johnny, that went beyond intuition. She could feel what he was feeling. So when Johnny is killed in a tragic accident, James knows before her phone even rings that her brother is gone and that she's alone. Truly alone for the first time in her life. When James arrives in a secluded town of 6 Rivers, California, to settle her brother's affairs, she's forced to revisit the ominous events of their shared past and finally face Micah, the only person who knows their secrets, and the only man she has ever loved. But as James delves deeper into Johnny's world, she realizes that their unique connection hasn't completely vanished. The more she immerses herself in his life, the more questions she has about the brother she thought she knew. Johnny was hiding something, and he's not the only one. The deeper she digs, the more she is compelled to unravel the truth behind the days leading up to Johnny's death. Ultimately, James must decide which truth should come to light, and which are better left buried forever. And then on the 10th, we have A Bargain of Shadows by F.M. Aden. Elizabeth Bellecourt has grown up hidden under the glory of her beautiful half-sister, Louise, her entire life. Louise is always cast as the lead in their ballet performances, and even the man Elizabeth's heart longs for only has eyes for her sister. As the daughters of the esteemed Hugo Bellecourt, owner of the National Opera House, the infamous slightly decrepit building with whispers of the devil lining in the catacombs, they live a life of prestige and respect. When Elizabeth learns that her father is in danger, she strikes a bargain with the phantom who haunts the catacombs. Thrust into the Greylands, a bleak, mist-filled, world packed with ghosts and treacherous beasts, she finds herself on a quest to unravel an ancient prophecy, because the Grey Lands is in danger of becoming undone, and if she hopes to return home, Elizabeth must find a way to save it and work alongside Severin, the mysterious boy who rules this underground realm. Together they must find the Book of Echoes, which is said to hold the secrets of the realm of the dead. As they hunt for the truth and the attraction between her and Severin heightens, Elizabeth begins to learn the truth about her deadly magic and finds herself caught between loyalty and betrayal. And then we have several coming out on the 14th. First up, we have Daughter of Chaos by A.S. Webb. In ancient Greece, mortals suffer under the tyranny of the gods, forced to sacrifice the food they depend on, their worldly possessions, and even each other at the whims of the 12. But an ancient prophecy speaks of hope, of one who will set humankind free. On the island of Naxos, Danae, a fisherman's daughter, develops strange powers tied to a mysterious tree bearing golden fruit. Driven from her home, she seeks guidance from the oracle, but finds only more questions and whispers of a secret network of believers who have long been awaiting her arrival. Determined to learn more, Danae joins forces with the legendary Heracles and his crew. Together, they battle monsters and gods alike on a quest to the end of the world as Danae seeks the one who holds the key to her destiny. But a terrifying truth is yet to be unlocked, a truth that could destroy the world as she knows it. Danae must choose to follow her destiny or her heart, while the fate of humanity rests on her shoulders. And then we have Lightfall by Ed Crocker. For centuries, vampires freely roamed the land until the Greys came out of nowhere, wiping out half the population in a night. The survivors fled to the last vampire city of First Light, where the rules are simple. If you're poor, you drink weak blood. If you're nobility, you get the good stuff, and you can never, ever leave. Palace maid Sam has had enough of these rules, and she's definitely had enough of cleaning the bedpans of the lords who enforce them. When the son of the city's ruler is murdered and she finds the only clue to his death, she seizes the chance to blackmail her way into a better class and better blood. She falls in with the leeches, a group of rebel maids who reign in the worst of the lords. Soon she is in league with a sorcerer whose deductive skills make up for his lack of magic, a deadly werewolf assassin, and a countess who knows a city's worth of secrets. There's just one problem. What began as a murder investigation has uncovered a vast conspiracy by the ruling elite, and now Sam must find the truth before she becomes another victim. If she can avoid getting murdered, she might just live forever. Then we have Water Moon by Samantha, Sotto, Yambao. On a back street in Tokyo lies a pawn shop, but not everyone can find it. Most will see a cozy ramen restaurant, and only the chosen ones, those who are lost, will find a place to pawn their life, choices, and deepest regrets. Hana Ishikawa wakes on her first morning as the pawn shop's new owner to find it ransacked, the shop's most precious acquisition stolen, and her father missing. And then into the shop stumbles a charming stranger, quite unlike its other customers, for he offers help instead of seeking it. Together they must journey through a mystical world to find Hannah's father and the stolen choice, by way of rain puddles, rides on paper cranes, bridge between midnight and morning, and a night market in the clouds. But as they get closer to the truth, Hannah must reveal a secret of her own and risk making a choice that she will never be able to take back. Then we have The In-Between Bookstore by Edward Underhill. When Darby finds himself unemployed and in need of a fresh start, he moves back to the small Illinois town he left behind. But Oak Falls has changed almost as much as he has since he left. One thing is familiar. In between books, Darby's refuge growing up and eventually high school job. When he walks into the bookstore now, Darby feels an eerie sense of deja vu. Everything is exactly the same. Even the newspapers are dated 2009. And behind the register is a teen who looks a lot like Darby did at 16, who just might give Darby the opportunity to change his own present for the better, if he can figure out how, before his connection to the past vanishes forever. And then we have Babylonia by Costanza, Casati. Babylonia across the centuries has become the embodiment of lust, excess, and dissolute power that ruled ancient Assyria. In this world, you had to kill to be king, or in the case of Semiramis, an orphan raised on the outskirts of an empire, queen. Nothing about Semiramis's upbringing could have foretold her legacy, but when she meets a young representative of the new Assyrian king, a prophecy unfolds before her, one that puts her in the center of a brutal world and in the hearts of two men, one who happens to be the king. Now a risen lady in the court of vipers, Semiramis becomes caught in the politics and the viciousness of ancient Assyria. Instead of bartering with fate, Semiramis trains in war and diplomacy. And with each move, she rises in rank, embroiled in a game of power, desire, love, and betrayal, until she can ascend to the only position that will ever keep her safe. And then we have Liar's Kingdom by Christine Calella. Elle has spent years slaving away for her cruel stepfamily. So when Prince Bayard, who seems to have difficulty recognizing faces, shows up at her door with a glass slipper, Elle allows him to believe she danced with him at the ball. There's just one problem. Elle didn't attend the ball, and she's never met the prince before in her life. But if it's a choice between moving to the royal palace or staying home, Elle is willing to say anything to escape. However, Elle finds that being royalty comes with its own problems. Bayard's sister, the princess, has gone missing. The king is preparing for war against the Fae, and Maxim, Bayard's treacherous and handsome best friend, appears to know Elle is lying. If Elle wants to keep this life she's stolen, she's going to have to roll up her sleeves and rescue herself. And then we have Midnight in Silvered Glass by Amalie Michael, which is book 3 in the Lorien Tales. Book 1 is called Blood Magic and Brandy. Too many people tell Crown Princess Ranunculus what to do, how to act, and who to be. As her 21st birthday approaches, so do new, unwanted responsibilities on her father's council. The worst of these is the search for a royal consort, a marriage that will prioritize the good of the kingdom over the preferences of her own heart. Rain squeezes as much joy into her days as possible before her obligations take over her life. After the Baron of Otero's long illness left him incapable of governing, the honor should have passed to Lord Nevar as the eldest son. Yet through a convenient quirk of the law, his stepmother holds all the power. He's been posing as a worthless lordling, but now has a chance to prove himself as an ambassador. If he plays his cards right, he can finally claim his proper place. Though intrigued by the outlandish princess, Navarre is too far below her in rank to make a good match, and he has a barony to fix after much neglect. The two flirt shamelessly, knowing their destinies lie somewhere else. When Navarre is framed for murder, Rain comes to his rescue and sends him to her friends in the forest. Proving his innocence is harder than she thought, and time is running out. Navarre wants to leave, Rain wants him to stay, and someone wants him dead. Then we have The Baby Dragon Cafe by A.T. Qureshi. When Saphira opens her cafe welcoming pet baby dragons, she isn't expecting it to be quite so hard to keep the fires burning. But her young dragon patrons keep incinerating her furniture, which means selling coffee isn't covering all her costs. Local heartthrob Aden is a gardener, though his disobedient baby dragon is a major distraction from his beloved plants. However, Saphira's cafe gives him an idea. He'll ask Saphira to train his dragon and pay her enough to keep the cafe afloat. They know they're the answer to each other's problems, but happy-go-lucky Saphira and gorgeous but grumpy Aden couldn't be more different. Can they find a way to work together and maybe even ignite some fire of their own? Then on the 20th, we have Choice by Lucius Tarquinius. In a world where magical powers are only attained through a grim practice, child sacrifice, lies the high kingdom of Usterabella. Amidst a decade-long interregnum, the realm teeters on the brink of chaos. Yet a new peril looms as northern savage warlocks muster for invasion. The defense of the realm hangs in the balance, entrusted to the Order of God's hand. However, their mission faces a dire setback as a cunning warlock named Odo absconds with crucial contracts essential for funding the campaign against the encroaching northern menace. Enter Gerhard, a corrupt and lascivious archbishop. He offers to reveal the location of the knights who massacred Odo's family in exchange for the stolen contracts. Desperate to recover these documents, the Order dispatches 3 knights, Heinrich, Dietmar, and Gutwin, on a mission to track down Odo and retrieve the contracts before the Order's funds are exhausted. Failure is not an option. If Heinrich, Dietmar, and Gutwin do not succeed, Ustrabella and the southern realms will be left defenseless against the savage warlocks of the north. As the knights pursue Odo, they must navigate the treacherous political waters stirred by Archbishop Gerhard. Will they recover the contracts in time, or will they become ensnared in the Archbishop's schemes, leaving their homeland vulnerable to destruction? And then we have Tarnished by Erica Rose Eberhardt. In the struggling city of Braywick, a determined 20-year-old gate guard named Aelith McCree longs for a chance at financial stability and adventure. Little does she know, her wish is about to come true. She accepts a mission from Princess Greer that promises both. Escort Princess Catriona to the Endless Mountains to meet the enigmatic hermit for a great financial reward. Aelith jumps at the opportunity and bids goodbye to all she's ever known. But as they journey together, Aelith discovers Catriona holds a dangerous secret. She possesses powerful magic in a kingdom where magic is outlawed. Aelith and Catriona face mysterious attacks and supernatural challenges, but as they delve deeper into the treacherous landscape, Aelith learns Catriona's tragic past and the dark curse that threatens her very existence. With rebellion brewing in Braywick, the oppressive king hot on their trail, Aelith must not only navigate for growing feelings for Catriona, but also fight against relentless foes. As they race against time to stop the curse, Aelith and Catriona uncover shocking truths about the kingdom, their families, and themselves. Will their burgeoning romance survive the trials ahead? Can they break the curse and save their homeland from tyranny? And then we have Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yaros, and this is the Imperium Book 3. Book 1 is Fourth Wing. 20-year-old Violet Soaringale was supposed to enter the Scribe Quadrant, living a quiet life among books and history. Now the commanding general, also known as her tough-as-talons mother, has ordered Violet to join the hundreds of candidates striving to become the elite of Navarre, Dragon Riders. But when you're smaller than everyone else and your body is brittle, death is only a heartbeat away, because dragons don't bond to fragile humans, they incinerate them. With fewer dragons willing to bond than cadets, most would kill Violet to better their own chances of success. The rest would kill her just for being her mother's daughter, like Xaden Ryerson, the most powerful and ruthless wing leader in the Riders Quadrant. She'll need every edge her wits can give her just to see the next sunrise. Yet with every day that passes, the war outside grows more deadly, the kingdom's protective wards are failing, and the death toll continues to rise. Even worse, Violet begins to suspect leadership is hiding a terrible secret. Friends, enemies, lovers, everyone at Basquiath War College has an agenda. Because once you enter, there are only 2 ways out: graduate or die. Then we have The Wind on Her Tongue by Anita Kopax. This is book 2 of the Daughter of Three Waters trilogy. Book 1 is Shallow Waters. Shallow Waters imagines Yamaya, an Orisha, a deity in the religion of Africa's Yoruba people, cast into mid-1800s America. We meet Yamaya as a young woman, still in the care of her mother and not yet fully aware of the spectacular power she possesses to protect herself and those she holds dear. The journey laid out in Shallow Waters sees Yamaya confront the greatest evils of this era, transcend time and place in search of Obatala, a man who sacrifices his own freedom for the chance at hers, and grow into the powerful woman she was destined to become. We travel alongside Yamaya from her native Africa and on to the New World, with vivid pictures of life for those left on the outskirts of power in the nascent Americas. Then we have The Rainfall Market by Yeong-Gwang and translated by Sling Jun. On the outskirts of Rainbow Town, there is an old abandoned house. They say if you send a letter detailing your misfortunes there, you could receive a ticket. If you bring this ticket to the house on the first day of the rainy season, you'll be granted entrance into the mysterious Rainfall Market, where you can choose to completely change your life. No one is more surprised than Saren when she receives a ticket. Lonely and with no real prospects for a future, Saren ventures to the market, determined to create a better life for herself. There she meets a magical cat companion named Isha, and they search through bookstores, perfumeries, and fantastical realms where Saren tries to determine what her perfect life will look like. The catch: Saren has only 1 week to find her happiness or be doomed to vanish into the market forever. And all the while, a shadow follows quietly behind them. And then on the 28th, we have The Teeth of Dawn by Marina Lostetter, and this is book 3 of the 5 penalties. Book 1 is The Helm of Midnight. In a daring and deadly heist, thieves have made away with an artifact of terrible power, the death mask of Louis Charbonne. Made by a master craftsman, it is imbued with the spirit of a monster from history, a serial murderer who terrorized the city. Now Charbonne is loose once more, killing from beyond the grave. But these murders are different from before, not simply random, but the work of a deliberate mind probing for answers to a sinister question. It is up to Krona Hervath and her fellow regulators to enter the mind of madness to stop the insatiable killer while facing the terrible truth left in his wake. And then we have The Outcast Mage by Annabelle Campbell. In the glass city of Amoria, magic is everything, and Nyla, student at the city's legendary academy, is running out of time to prove she can control hers. If she fails, she'll be forced into exile, regulated to a life of persecution with other magicless hollows, or worse, be consumed by her own power. When a tragic incident further threatens her place at the academy, Nyla is saved by Helios Akana, the most powerful living mage. Finding Nyla, a kindred spirit, Helios stakes his position at the academy on teaching her to harness her abilities. But Helios has many enemies, and they would love nothing more than to see Nyla fail. Trapped in the deadly schemes of Amoria's elite, Nyla must dig deep to discover the truth of her powers or watch the city she loves descend into civil war. For there is violence brewing on the wind and magic powers at work, one who could use her powers for good or destroy everything she's ever known. Then we have Carving Shadows into Gold by Brigid Kemmerer. This is book 2 of Forging Silver into Stars. Book 1 is Forging Silver into Stars. When 19-year-old Tycho, the king's courier, arrives in the remote village of Briarlock, he hopes to escape the demands of his new life in the royal court, where magic reigns for the first time in ages. He doesn't expect to fall for a handsome blacksmith with a bruised heart. After years of cruelty in his father's forge, Jax never dared to dream of a better life until a magic-wielding young lord shows him an enticing alternative. But when rumors of a rebellion reach Briarlock, Jax wonders if he can trust and if he'll even survive. Jack's best friend Kaylin doesn't trust anyone, especially not a handsome stranger with magic, which killed her parents years ago. When another royal emissary arrives, seeing a co-conspirator, Callan finds herself embroiled in a plot that could lead them all to ruin. As tensions flare throughout the kingdom, it won't be long before everyone must choose a side. War is brewing, passions are building, and magic may doom or save us all. And then last, on the 30th, we have The Two Hungers of Prince Fier by Darcy Ashe. Prince Fier has 3 big problems. He's suffering from a mysterious illness. He's surrounded by lords who expect personal favors. And worst of all, he's in love with his best friend, Aden, a former farm boy and studious enforcer of rules, now right hand to the prince. Can Fier heal himself, deal with the nobleman snapping about his ankles, and confront his desire for a man who has no noble blood, but a very noble heart? And that is it. That is our January fantasy new releases. I hope in there you found something that sounds good to you. There is a few in there that sound interesting to me, and I will definitely be adding them to my TBR, the never-ending TBR. But yep, with that said, like the video if you haven't, subscribe if you want to for more of this every month, and I hope to see you again later.